Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 5 of the ACU podcast. Today we got some new special people here, Erik, Logan, and Ryan. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Mario Odyssey or Earthfall?
Let's talk about some Earthfall, huh?
Yeah, what a masterpiece of a game.
You've all played it. It's $29.99 on the Xbox Live Store.
It's
Tax not included.
not worth the $29.99.
I think it's a great game.
It's a free game.
It should be.
It should be free.
I would say
$30, great
I
game.
wouldn't have paid more than
Unreal Engine.
$bucks for it. So
Looks pretty nice.
Unreally
Until
bad.
something happens in a game and then the frame rate drops.
frame rate's terrible. You can't
Yeah.
play it for more than 20 minutes without frame rate just diving constantly.
Graphics
People compare
are
it to
awful.
Left 4 Dead. That is false.
I
The
mean,
core the core gameplay is kind of like Left 4 Dead, but other than that, it's just no. Don't
Characters are
compare.
not memorable at all.
No.
Everybody remembers Bill, Zoe, Coach.
Can't forget about
Coach.
Daddy Coach.
Nick.
Nick.
We don't
Alice.
talk about Rochelle though.
Rochelle.
I love Rochelle. Okay.
But,
She doesn't heal anyone but herself.
She's now
an
we got
asshole.
new characters like Jonas, Danny.
how you remember them?
You actually remember?
How do you even know their names?
I don't know the chick's name, and then there's the
Just name off a bunch of random names.
Then there's
That would do it.
hazmat suit guys. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Nothing memorable.
Yeah, it's a pretty much an unmemorable game. I'd say it's nothing really I would want to.
You can't even tell what's going on if there's a bunch of enemies because the frame rate just
You don't know what
drops.
the enemies do. Like at least in like Left 4 Dead, you know, like if it was a boomer, you know what it was going to do. I don't even know what happened.
There's like a sound cue
Yeah.
and everything with it too.
Yeah, and then like,
They
you
have
get
distinct
the guy that, like,
sounds.
screams it of what it is, and you're. How am I supposed to know what?
Yeah, then there's this giraffe-looking motherfucker, grabs you by the freaking head and just trails off with you.
Okay, I can't be the only one who thinks that melee weapons are completely useless in
and
this.
there's
They don't even. There's like barely any good hit detection with it.
and there's no ammo. Anywhere.
Like, if you don't have a primary ammo and all you have is your base pistol, you're screwed.
and you
can't do
You
anything.
spend half the game with the pistol because there's no guns.
Anybody
Guns
who's
are
ahead of
very
you is going to keep
scarce in the
taking the
game.
gun.
Yeah, like the first mission, there's plenty of guns. It's all right, but after the first mission, it's just like, where do they go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and the objectives nobody cares about.
Where are the
Completely useless.
guns?
Huh?
Where are the guns?
Yeah. Where are the guns? Where are they at?
Where are they?
But yeah, I'd say it's a pretty bad game.
Yeah, then I feel like the balance is completely off with printers because you can just keep making new weapons every 4 seconds.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
weapons, and then you have unlimited weapons.
Yeah, it's just all wonky and doesn't make sense.
Like the spacing between where they put the weapons too, I feel like it's just way too long. Because you'll start off, you get like 2 people get weapons, and then the 2 other people get stuck with the pistols because the 2
Pistol.
Yeah, the one.
The pistol.
The one. You might get lucky and somebody, there's one left somewhere and somebody grabs it and then you're, screwed still. But yeah, and so like the spacing between like where the weapons are, I feel like it's just so off because you'll start off, you'll get the weapons, and then there'll be like 2 or 3 more like weapons cache it, and like by that time you already have
Yep.
the game's all, the match is already almost over. So it's like I don't know. I feel like it's just not very good.
It's just whack.
They could have done way
Don't
better
get it.
with
Save your money.
Yeah,
I would say we
They
could
should
have played
just
more
make
of the
Left 4
game.
Dead
but-
3 instead.
yeah, we all know what that's
Yeah.
never coming.
Valve's done making games
Yeah,
Yeah, they are.
Play Left 4 Dead 2 till the day we die.
because Lord Gaben is just making too much money off the Steam summer sales.
Yeah. I mean, Left 4. If I was gonna spend the money, I'd definitely just buy Left 4 Dead because
Yeah, you should.
Earthfall is just hands down.
I'm gonna play Left 4 Dead
Left 4
tonight.
Dead is 100% worth it.
Oh yeah, I just bought a
2.
second one.
2.
Yeah,
Buy Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, 2.
One wasn't terrible.
One
Well,
was-
you can
one
get
was
Left 4 Dead
great.
1 in Left 4 Dead 2.
Well,
like you
here's
get
the
all
thing
the
with
maps.
one though, the ragdolls in that game is freaking amazing. You can headshot someone on expert, and they just go flying across the map. It's freaking-
Spaz. Left 4 Dead 2 has the spaz. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, in Earthfall, like if you shoot
Well, they
them,
do
like,
have-
their
it also has a
limbs
scar.
start spazzing through the walls and everything.
It's the new, it's the
So
newer
glitchy.
Unreal 4 engine. I don't think they.
Well, and melee weapons were good in Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, you can actually. Yeah, exactly.
You can
They did
actually
something.
kill someone. You can
Yes,
kill a tank
melee
with
weapons
it.
are amazing.
Yeah,
Get the tank
katana.
burger achievement or whatever the hell it is.
the tanks in those games, the tanks in like Earthfall too. I feel like if you like, okay, so like the difficulty in Earthfall is completely out of whack. Like you start off like easy is way too easy, and then you go up to normal, and it's like extreme hard mode.
There's no medium.
Yeah, unless you have like complete solid like cooperation, I feel like you're never gonna get it done. And even in normal, they still don't have enough gun spacing to where like you feel like it's fun, like it's an enjoyable challenge. It just feels like you're on like an extreme hard mode all the time.
Right.
I don't know,
Yeah.
because that's what we started off in normal. I think we started off in normal.
Yeah,
Yeah, we started
couldn't
off
play.
normal. We just got destroyed.
It didn't let us choose the difficulty for some reason.
Well, it was in the menu, I think.
Yeah, I think I wasn't I host. I'm pretty sure I forgot to switch it to easy or something just to test it out, see what it's like. But that did not go so well at all.
No, sir.
Even on easy, it just was not fun.
Yeah, I feel like it was just kind of like a flop of a game. I mean, it's a game where like if you see it on the Xbox Live like free games,
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
and like it would be okay, but like for $30, it's kind of just.
There's free games out there that are worth more than that pile of trash.
That's probably why it was $30 and not the
There's
full
two
price of
chapters.
$60.
There's 10 missions in total for $30.
Yeah,
It's a ripoff.
Yeah.
and you're glitched half like through all of them pretty much. Your frame rate tanks throughout every mission, so you're barely having fun.
Well, I mean, it's not a first party game, though, right? It's technically an indie game.
I think I think it's not a AAA game or anything like
Yeah.
that, or like a main studio.
But it was sponsored like a main.
Yeah, it had like
They had really good sponsorship for sure. But
it had everything going.
had a lot of advertising.
Yeah, that would have been a game that would have worked well on like Game Pass.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like they have Vermintide on there, and that's getting pretty good reviews. So Vermintide 2. I don't know. I feel like we should definitely try that out because I feel like it would be pretty good.
I'll have to.
And for $10, you get. Well, right now they have that deal going.
Yeah, it's 10 for
10
3
for
months.
3 months now.
I'll buy it.
So that's pretty good. I mean, and you get like a pretty good, decent amount of games now. They had like Fallout 4 on there.
Which
Yeah.
you should play.
Yeah.
Don't know why you haven't played that.
Play it.
Everyone plays it.
I understand. Like,
Fallout 4, yeah.
I understand. Like we're
On a PC where there's a bunch of more mods on there.
But those are paid though, right? On PC?
not all of them. They have like the.
I think more or less it's Skyrim that has the paid mods.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
think, like you can get the paid mods, but then you just get most of them.
It's ridiculous because on Xbox you can get mods for free. They're all free.
Well, they're not as
On console.
good.
Yeah, and there's not as many
yeah.
for sure.
There's like a Fallout Miami mod coming out pretty soon.
I saw that.
Yeah,
It's coming out for PC.
it looked pretty cool actually.
I'm pretty sure they released also a New York one for the Xbox. I'm not too sure.
I don't know. I saw the Miami one, like some gameplay on it. It looked pretty good actually for a mod, I'd say.
Yeah.
So while we're on the topic of Fallout here, what about Fallout 76?
I'm pretty.
I mean, it's kind of divided halfway through.
Well-
Not through us, but like just like in general, I hear like it's
Well,
in the middle.
if you look at it this way, Fallout's always been a single player game.
Yeah.
I mean, even before I even jumped to the first person, it used to be a like what was it, like Final Fantasy, where it's like player turns or whatever.
Yeah,
Like 1 and 2?
Yeah, like a like an RPG kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you guys are saying by that, but the reason why Elder Scrolls Online didn't feel right to me, but Fallout 76 is really, it's basically, the way I perceive it is where you look at it and it's Fallout 4, but it's multiplayer.
Yeah.
And now,
It's cooperative.
yes, it's technically a always online game, but you can still do it solo like you can with every other Fallout game. And while it's not Fallout 5, I don't see why people would get upset by this, because we're still going to get a Fallout 5. I mean, it's not like Bethesda is completely changing the formula
No.
and doing online only for all their games, because we know we're getting another Elder Scrolls game. That's not
Yeah.
going to be online. And I guarantee you we're going to get another single-player Fallout game. This is like another filler.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it this way, Fallout 4, in terms of Bethesda release years, it's been released fairly recently.
Right.
I mean, look how much time it took between Fallout 3 and Fallout 4.
Yeah, and this
And
came
Vegas
a
was
couple
done by
years.
a different company.
Right, exactly.
So now, I guess, like, with Fallout 76, like, I get what you're saying, like, it's going to be, like, a primarily, like, multiplayer. It's not going to be the mainstream, like, Fallout 5 that everybody's waiting for, but, I mean, I haven't looked up a lot of details on it, but is it going to be, like, so if you're out out like adventuring by yourself, are you just gonna randomly get killed by some guy that's just walking?
I mean, that's
I'm gonna assume
Yeah.
so, because Todd Howard confirmed that so in regular Fallout games you have to do a lot of NPCs, and every character you meet they'll be like vault dwellers or city people, and all the NPCs in this game are going to be real life people. So there's not going to be any. What I'm assuming is there's not going to be any dialogue between like characters, and he said that a lot of it's going to be through like the robotics. So like the robots that you see in all the Fallout games, those are going to be like the main quest lines and what's going to do all that. So I mean, it's still a single player game, but I feel like it's going to be a good blend. I'm excited to see it.
I mean, they're testing it out.
Right, and we get the beta. I don't know when it's coming, but I think it's
October.
pretty soon. October.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
they said that it's coming out in October, but we don't have a official date yet for it.
See, my thing is, like, if I were to get it, like, this would be my first Fallout game, obviously.
Right.
I don't want to just leave the vault, essentially, like, just starting out, and then just get, like, murked by some guy with that's super high level.
I think you're going to be put into games that are like level and gear based.
Yeah, I mean,
So I feel like there's going to be more of a balance.
it's really all speculation because I mean we don't know yet. I'm gonna assume not
Well,
because
would
I
it be
mean
different?
Bethesda's a smart company.
Yeah.
So I mean I'm gonna assume
I mean,
not. But
in Fallout, as you level up, the enemies level up too. So I mean,
yeah, I mean it's
might be
the
the similar
game gets
concept.
easier, but then you're also gonna run into higher enemies. So
Yeah.
I feel like it might play like Destiny kind of in a way because like you don't encounter like the high level enemies until you're a high level.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's the thing. Like, I was looking at one of the videos I watched the other day, and they were saying like with this new Anthem coming out, it's got this mechanic where essentially like anybody. So let's say like we're all in a party together, and say you're like 10 levels higher than us. Well, everything will scale based on everybody's level.
Okay.
It's like if it's like me and you facing like together out in the wilderness fighting something, it's going to scale based on our level. So it'll kind of like the monsters will kind of work around like different people's level cap.
Right.
So I'm wondering if that will work maybe something like Fallout 76 where if your guys are in a party together, will things kind of go around each other's levels?
yeah, I mean it's really all experimental. I mean the only thing that Bethesda's done that was remotely close to this was Elder Scrolls Online, and nobody liked that game. So
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. Well, that was a big thing too. Like when they announced that they're gonna have that new Elder Scrolls game coming out, like that. I mean, it wasn't really like a huge trailer or anything, but it was like,
yeah, but we know it's coming.
yeah. So I think that was
About 2 years
finally
or
get
so.
another Elder Scrolls.
I think it'll be a next gen.
Not a remake.
A next gen game for sure. I don't think it's gonna come out on the one.
I think it will.
PS4.
I think it will.
Like, well, I also think like Halo Infinite probably won't come out.
Well, I mean, think about it too, because the Xbox One X literally just came out last fall. I don't think they're just going to discontinue the Xbox One
No,
that soon.
they're going to just continue upgrading it until they can't really do it anymore.
Microsoft is working on new Xbox hardware right now, but
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean,
we
All
won't get a
game
new
companies
console for a
are
while.
working on the next gen.
well, and that's probably why they picked up those. They got like I think it was like 6 new new developers under them now that they're first party that are developing.
Yeah.
First party.
Well, then that brings into question, what about PlayStation? Because we know that Xbox is technically superior with the Xbox One X to the PS4 Pro, and PlayStation doesn't have any idea that I know of to make their Xbox One X equivalent consoles. So
Well, that's the thing. Like, I would have to assume that with I would probably give it like to say for the next gen probably about like 2 years, I'd say, and then we'll start seeing these new consoles roll out. But I think in terms of because I know I was watching something somewhere and they were saying like the Infinite, the Halo Infinite developers are starting to like develop obviously for this current gen, but they're also planning ahead for next gen.
Right.
See that was that.
That's
Right.
the same thing they did with Halo 4.
exactly.
That game runs at 60 frames on the Master Chief Collection. That runs crisp. The hit detection is perfect. It's meant for that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, because the 360 ran, what was it, probably at least 2 years into the Xbox One's life. Like the first year,
they had
a lot of
Grand
people
Theft
couldn't even buy an Xbox One because everything was coming out on the 360.
There was a huge scare about it where you have to be online every 24 hours.
Yeah, the whole Xbox
stupid.
when
It was a failure.
was a total flop. Like they just had nothing.
And that's why
going
PS4
for
is
them.
prevailing right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, it sold way more than the Xbox, and with PlayStation 2, it reaches, worldwide, whereas Xbox is kind of a more North American console.
Yep.
I feel like because I was looking at some statistics for our PlayStation comparative to Xbox, and I think it was in Japan.
Yep.
And yeah, you saw those.
They don't sell any Xboxes
I think it
in
was
Japan.
I think it was 10.
Well, it's because Sony's in Japan too.
So was Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they release all Japanese and Nintendo.
Japan gets everything from Nintendo. We don't get anything.
Yeah.
Well, usually too. Yeah, a lot of the games will come out in Japan first. And you'll hear about
and they'll get
3-4
exclusive
years.
Japan stuff too,
Yeah.
and that we never even get.
And you hear about it 3 to 4 years later. Oh, now they're porting it over to the Americas and all that. So
Our boy Reggie's left out. Reggie. Eric knows what I'm talking about.
I'm not even shocked.
Reggie is the only thing that's keeping Nintendo alive in America.
No, but I don't know. I feel like we have that next console generation coming. So, even what was it? Todd Howard. He was talking about how he's with I think it's Starfield. Is it their new space game, Starfield?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about that specifically. That it's not going to be. It was the same kind of thing with Halo too, where he's planning for current gen, but he's aiming for next gen. So
Next gen will optimize it.
yeah, I think especially with this whole new console, whether it's PlayStation, Xbox, I think it's going to be 4K is going to be the new standard.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
4K, 60 frame crisp games like that. I don't see even the low end being under 4K for this next console.
So how much
There's
longer
still
till we
some
get
30 frame games being released now, but
I'd say.
but they're starting to lift the bar on that.
Yeah, I'd say maybe not 30 frames or not 60 frames all the time. Maybe you'll get some 30 frames, but I say the 4K is going to be pushed extremely hard for all the in terms of marketing and advertising.
Yep.
Because I can't see them doing doing something that wouldn't be 4K now. Considering even TVs, you see them now are pretty much all trying to aim for.
Oh yeah, and every game
At the
you
bare
play.
minimum 1080p or 1440.
Oh yeah. 1080p is almost a thing of the past.
Yeah, I don't even see. I don't see the lowest console in this next generation being 1080p.
Except for the Switch.
Yeah, well, or
Really?
whatever Nintendo has.
Nintendo's always a step
Nintendo will
back
never get
before
4K.
No.
behind everyone.
Yeah.
What about 6K?
I mean, in the Nintendo
No.
the Wii U.
Eventually, but not for a while.
360 was better than that in terms of tech.
Yeah. I mean, I think for Nintendo, I think they're in their own kind of market.
Yeah,
where
it's apples and oranges.
Yeah,
it really is.
where you buy, when you buy a Nintendo console, you're not thinking, I'm going to run everything on 4K or I'm going to have the best, 60 frames per second. You're
Party
buying,
game.
You're buying it for Nintendo games.
Yeah,
is
you're
what
buying it
doing.
for essentially like you said, it's like a party game, or it's like a it's got that
Mario
pastel.
Party.
You're not gonna find games that have charm like Mario Party or Smash Brothers on next gen consoles. You're gonna have games like your Mortal Kombats, and they're gonna look great, but there's always something about having that charm that Nintendo's never gonna lose.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's come closer has been Cuphead in terms of graphics.
Yeah, I don't know why that's not on Switch.
Yeah.
Wish they would give that
Well,
up.
because it's
I don't know if it's
It's
I don't
because
know whether
it was
they consider
Microsoft
graphics
funded.
or just artwork, because it's just literally all. I'm pretty sure it's all
Yeah.
hand drawn.
Yeah, yeah.
Every move you make in that game's hand drawn. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine how much time that took.
They were
For a $20
they were
game.
advertising it for years. They were like 3 years back or whatever.
Yeah, it was at
working on it.
E3. I remember that. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was at one of the E3s back. They actually had announced it, but it took.
Yeah, with a little bit of gameplay, but not like a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's and essentially too, because it's an indie. I don't know why it's not on Nintendo, and Microsoft and Nintendo are working.
Well, I think it was mainly because it was a Microsoft funded project, and they kind of took ownership of it in a sense. So I mean, it's kind of the same with Crash Bandicoot. it was always a Sony product, but now we're seeing like Spyro and Crash coming on all the systems, and it's like, is it just because they want to make more sales, or I don't know, like it seems like the line is disappearing now, and there's more, it's not as strictly, hey, I only play this system, I only play these kind of games.
Yeah,
Well, if you think about it too, consoles are becoming more and more like PCs. I mean, how the Xbox is cross-platforming with a lot of games. You can play it on their tablet, you can play it on their computers.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
They have that play.
Pretty sure you can do Forge for Halo 5 on a computer.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like in terms of bringing it back to Cuphead, because we just saw that Microsoft actually let Nintendo put Minecraft on the Switch. So I'm wondering, maybe is it a matter of time before
Nintendo even advertised characters from Halo.
Yeah.
They tweeted it.
Right.
Yeah. So I would say, if they don't get Cuphead, I'd be pretty surprised. Considering they're trading one of their biggest, exclusives, Minecraft, to the Switch.
And if you think about it, a game like Minecraft is really perfect for the Switch because it's not graphically demanding. You can play it with anybody. There's just certain games that work perfectly on the Switch, like Cuphead, for example, would be a great pick up, play a level.
Great tablet game.
Exactly. Pick up, play level, put it down. It's not like your Halo where you play like a 6-hour campaign or something. It's just like, it's good for pick up, throw down games, especially side scrollers. And
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when I was playing Zelda on the Switch, I thought that, it was a great game. Don't get me wrong. It was a little long, great game, but it was hard on the Switch in particular because, you think of the Switch, you think of like a pick up and go kind of thing where you turn it on, you play maybe like a level or something, or you do a couple runs through something, and you put it down, or you don't have a whole lot of time. Where I feel like Zelda is a game where you had to invest a lot of time into it, and I felt like it just kind of felt awkward on the Switch.
And that's honestly why I think Mario Odyssey is better than Zelda in a sense, because instead of completing a long shrine or a long dungeon, you get a moon or two, and that takes very little time.
And a game like Zelda is based solely on that story. It's you're trying to follow the story in the game, and where Mario, Mario Odyssey, there's a story, but you're playing it just for the mechanics.
You're playing it for a Mario game.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt like it kind of felt a little off in the sense of like it was just a bit long and a bit too much, I think, this time around. But it was still a great game, don't get me wrong. I think it would have been more at home. Granted, it's Zelda, obviously, but it would have been more at home in terms of like mechanics and how long the game took on like an Xbox or like a PlayStation. But it was still a good game. Any other games you guys want to see ported to any other thing? Maybe something on PlayStation to get to Xbox. Spider-Man.
Fortnite.
Oh my god.
Cross-platform gameplay.
Yeah, actually, it was
Fortnite
funny.
Switch, I think.
No, I'm talking about like cross-platform gameplay, where Nintendo Switch people can play with Xbox players.
Don't they already do that?
No, not on Fortnite.
The only one that won't allow it.
Yeah, but you can play
PlayStation
Switch on
allows
Xbox.
PC, but they don't allow Xbox to play with them.
Yeah, PlayStation won't let anything PC. Yeah. But I think mobile too.
Yep, and mobile. I was funny. I was actually talking to an AT&T lady today, and Samsung was coming out with a new phone, or I think it was a Note or something like that. Samsung was coming out with a new device, and it was going to be like strictly you can only play Fortnite on that. It's like a gaming phone. She was telling me.
Really?
And it was like it has like the curved edge where it's made for like gaming, and I don't know what it was.
Fucking console or PC.
And what's the big deal about Fortnite? Why does everybody care still?
Yeah, well, yeah.
How has it not died?
Because it's a free game.
Well, what happens when it dies?
Well, you get emotes.
Yeah, what do we do when Fortnite's done?
Yeah, and then it dies. Okay, so
If it's so good, why isn't there a second one coming out? Wait a minute. It's still in beta. Why isn't it finished yet?
And like in terms of like Fortnite, especially like you're saying, for this phone that's specifically designed for Fortnite.
Yep.
What are they going to do when Fortnite's gone? What are they going to do when Fortnite's got like 4 players active?
PUBG.
I was going to say PUBG.
Or they'll make a brand new Battle Royale game.
Yeah, or Battle
Fortnite
Royale
2.
just die out. For a while we had the Zombie Crush rage, where everything was just solely about zombies. You had like Dying Light, Left 4 Dead, State of Decay. You had what was some other big ones?
Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah.
Well, that's always
There's a lot
been a staple. though.
of zombie games out there.
Yeah, well, there was that time. I guess I can't really make
2008 through 2012.
Yeah, I guess it would kind of be an ad. Yeah, and it was just solely zombie games, zombie movies. Everybody was, you'd go into like a mall and all you'd see is zombie shirts, and it was that phase where now you walk through a store and you hear like a 5-year-old like talking about Fortnite or something. That's all you hear about now is Fortnite. Even like
Someone raise their kids. Come on.
yeah, it's like
It's a rated M game.
yeah, and all of these like older people even now, they'll come up to you and be like, or you'll just you're like, it's pretty.
Them damn kids and their Fortnite.
Yeah, and Fortnite's the main.
Yeah, I've had people like in their mid-30s talk about Fortnite and kids in their 10s talk about Fortnite. Everybody's playing it.
Yeah. I was actually at the store the other day and I had a kid walk past me and he was talking about how he wanted to go home just to play Fortnite, and I was like, I guess it's that.
It's the
big.
new Call of Duty and Halo, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially. And I think now, as Fortnite grows and grows, I think we're going to see less and less of these successful battle royales. Like they got the COD. Battle Royale
everybody's
now.
doing them now this fall.
And I just don't think it's got a place. I mean, if they can shake
Halo
it up-
isn't at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
I heard about that.
How they were like, no, there's definitely not.
If you want to do it, make it a Forge. Make it a custom game.
Right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a
Don't
fad.
affect the multiplayer with it.
Yeah, it'll die. I think it'll die out here in the next year or so when
Yeah.
everybody just moves on.
Well,
to the
I'm
next
not
big-
sure. It's a new genre. I mean,
I don't know,
Kinda.
but do you really see it sticking as something like a new Call of Duty or a new Halo? I mean, it could
they're
be
making
in those
millions
games.
a day.
but-
So I mean,
Yeah, and
Or
I
at
think
least
for
hundreds of
now,
thousands.
Like I think it'll always be around. I think it'll always have its core fan base. You look at a game like, and I know you guys are gonna go like, ugh, but like, you look at a game like World of Warcraft that's been around for how long?
yeah.
And it's still got its fan base,
Right.
I mean, it's not as big as it was, during, what was it? I think like the Burning Crusade expansion where everybody was super excited, but, you still got that core fan base. They're still making tons of money off of it. So I think Fortnite and that Battle Royale genre will be around for a while. I just don't think it'll be as big as it is now.
So I'm going to shoehorn
Yeah.
into something here real quick, talking about Battle Royale and Black Ops 4. When you told me that Black Ops 4 DLC is only purchasable through the Season Pass, I didn't believe you. So I went to GameStop today, and I asked the guy, and he said the only way you can get DLC is through Season Pass.
Really?
Why is this a thing?
Boycott.
So my Activision is basically telling you need to pay, what would that be, $110 for the game, or you
Well,
pay $60. You have two options.
Yeah, you pay for the base game or you have
Yeah.
to buy
You can't
the-
buy the base game and
What
like
a
one
load of
zombies
shit
map
that
you really
is.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
So, okay, if they did that with like Black Ops 1, would I want to buy Shangri-La again? No.
No, God no.
No.
I wouldn't even want to pay for like Call of Dead. I mean, I'd rather just pay for them all and be like, all right, I know what I'm getting, I know what I want.
Yeah, but you're just diving in.
Right.
You
They're
know,
also taking another shot again. I mean, Black Ops 4 doesn't even have, they upset the fan base by no campaign. I mean, and campaigns have always been a big thing in the COD games, regardless of. It's
especially the Black Ops campaign.
Yeah, exactly. They've always been a big thing. So now you don't have a campaign, and now you have to have the season pass essentially.
Right.
So you're tacking on another $30 for things that you might not even want in that season pass.
Isn't it?
60.
60?
60?
That's
For the
50.
season pass?
I'm pretty sure it's 60 for the season pass.
That's
Call of Duty
ridiculous.
passes have usually been 50, right?
Oh wait, no. Wait, yeah, they're 50.
So
I
yeah.
was thinking about
So you buy the base game for what, $60, and then you have
Yeah.
to spend another $50.
for maps that you don't even know are.
Yeah, you have no idea what's coming.
Yeah.
So they're about like $15 each, right?
Well, they're
Well,
$15
when
each.
they were released individually, yes.
Right.
And I mean, there's
But-
always a chance too, like, when these maps get old, they release a new set of maps, and then you have to buy these next set of maps.
Exactly.
you know?
Imagine something like Black Ops 2. I mean, most of us have played Black Ops 2.
I've played it. I played the campaign. I didn't
This is
play
my goddamn religion.
I didn't play the multiplayer.
That game was our whole middle school. But
Yeah.
my thing is it came out with 4 map packs. I don't know the name of the map packs, but zombies wise, that's what everybody cared about. So the first ones we got was Die Rise, Mob of the Dead, Buried, and Origins. Now imagine you can pay $50 for all those maps, or you could pay $30 for the only 2 that were really good. that's an option that shouldn't be thrown away.
Yeah, well, and you look at a big game like, let's say, one of the big games that's come out this year, like Far Cry 5, where you have that option of you pay, I think it was like what, $30 extra for the season pass, which is their big DLCs, like they're not just like map packs essentially. Right. And you have that option of, well, if you don't want this, if you don't just want the season pass, you can buy each one individually.
Yep.
Which I don't understand why that wouldn't be a thing.
You're taking options away from the people essentially.
Yeah, like you're forced.
People don't like that.
Well, we better, because I know when you get a season pass, you usually get something else. Because like in Black Ops 2, you got Nuketown Zombies, and in Far Cry 5, you got the Far Cry 3 remake or whatever it was.
Yeah,
the Giant.
And for what I saw too, I mean, I don't know, I didn't really look that far into it, but I don't even think there's like a general like collector's edition for Black Ops 4 yet. I didn't see.
No, there isn't. I actually went to GameStop and asked them about that. Yeah. There isn't one.
And that's pretty rare. I mean,
that's ridiculous.
All the Black Ops have had a collector's edition.
Right. There's I think they call it a Pro Edition. It's like $200. I didn't get what was in it, but it's not going to be like you get your own Juggernaut fridge.
Yeah, that was cool. I actually like that.
Yeah. Well, and that's a missed.
Did one of you guys get it, or was like Caden that got it?
No, I tried to get it, but sold out. I don't think any of us got it.
I thought someone.
You almost bought it the other day too.
Yeah, I almost got it on Facebook, but it's
for what?
For $200.
And it was like the whole
complete. It was pretty sweet. But it's sold like 10 minutes before I got it.
Wow. So. Yeah, well, actually, speaking on this topic of collector's editions, I was actually watching something too, and they had Red Dead Redemption 2. So you have the base game. You have, I think it's called the Deluxe Edition, and then you have like the Gold Edition or something, and then you have the Collector's Edition. But the Collector's Edition doesn't come with the game. So you spend, I think it's what, like $100-some for the collector's edition, and then you have to also spend another $60 depending, like $60 to $100 depending on what version.
Well, do you know how much that was? Because usually collector's editions go for about $200, and they usually include the game, all the DLC, and then like a big ticket.
If I'm buying a collector's edition, I better get a fucking game.
It's for sure. It was somewhere around 100. I remember that, and you do not get the game if you buy the collector's edition.
The main focus of like the whole bundle is the game.
The game itself.
Yeah. Their explanation behind it was so that you have a better
money.
Well, yeah, deep down. But their whole explanation that they sent out was so that you have a better option of picking what version of the game you want. You weren't just so naturally when you have like a collector's edition, you generally get like the high end.
Right. You have to be dedicated.
Yeah, and you get like the high end version of the game, or sometimes you get the standard, but generally it's the high end version. Where this time they're like, oh well, we want to make sure that everybody gets the version of the game that they want, so they can buy.
Why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah, I actually don't mind that, because like if you think about it, something like, well, I'll go back to Fallout 76. I bought the collector's edition. Obviously, it was $200. You get the base game and their season pass. I think they're calling it Fallout Season Pass. Is like $30. So essentially, you're paying an extra $100 for collectibles, and this is usually pretty like close with all collector's editions. You get the game and season pass, and it'll be like $100 for the other collectibles. Now, personally, I don't know why you'd want a collectible of a game that you're not going to buy in the first place, but I think it's a good option. I mean, as long as they're not like ripping you off, and essentially they're taking the price of the collector's edition and slicing off $60. I mean, if you really,
that makes sense.
If they do it that way, then it works perfectly fine, because you can go buy the game, no problem. But
well, so like the thing is, like with like normal, like a normal collector's edition, you have, let's say, for instance, the Shadow of War one brings it up because like I'd recently just got that one. I think it was what, $200 at launch.
Yep.
And you got the high end edition of the games. You essentially paid for
the gold edition.
Yeah, and you paid the $100 for the high end, which would naturally be the original price that it is anyways. So I mean, them cutting it in half, I guess, kind of makes sense. That way you can choose if you don't want to spend the $200, which is normally what you're averaging for like a collector's edition. But I mean, I guess it just really depends. Like some games it's $200, some it's like $150. Because I know with the Assassin's Creed one that just came out for Odyssey, it's only $150 for the whole thing. I think plus the high end version of the game. So I guess it just depends on the developer, really.
Yeah. And the quality of the collectible that comes with it.
Yeah, I think it was only like you get like a chest, and then you get like cards, and it wasn't like a statue or anything.
The Origins one was that way too, wasn't it? You kind of get like a little messenger bag. Connor, didn't you get that? The Origins.
No.
Well, the Origins one had like 3. You had like the collector's edition where he's like sitting on a rock and like getting ready, or no, sitting. I think it was like a rock of like an alligator essentially. Then you had the one with him and Senyu where he's got the bow out and he's like flying off the rock. And then you have the Gods edition, which was like the 3 statues of the gods or whatever, and that one was like the highest end. So sometimes you see that too, or sometimes like they're region blocked, like depending on what game you buy, or certain, like if you get them at GameStop.
They have to conform to the laws of the said countries. Unless they don't, then they lose the market.
Well, and then you see too, like you get like the exclusive statues. You get the one from GameStop that they have their own exclusive statue made.
Oh yeah,
you get the one from like maybe Best Buy sometime.
Or EB Games up in Canada.
Really?
Don't even bring up that topic. I'm gonna lose my mind about amiibos and that.
What do you mean? Go ahead.
No. Let's talk about it.
Okay. All right. So I'll tell you my little amiibo story. So me back about 3 years ago when amiibos were coming out, you get your base sets, and they were based off Smash. That was like the whole idea. Smash has got these trophies, and you get like these little miniature figures that replicate the trophies. Fucking awesome. But the only problem is every wave that came in, there'd be like maybe 8 figures or so. One would be exclusive to Toys R Us. One would be exclusive to GameStop. One would be exclusive to Best Buy, and it makes it extremely hard to buy them. So I feel that frustration, and I don't want that to happen ever again, because it was horrible, especially as a collector and just for a general consumer. Because like us, there's no Toys R Us up here. You'd have to go to the cities.
Yeah, unless you buy it on eBay. Once somebody buys it and it's sold.
Now you just have to go to
it's way more expensive.
Now you have to go to the corporate grave.
Or sit there and hit refresh on your computer for hours and 4 in the morning.
Hopefully they get shipped.
Yeah, it's one of those situations too. It's the same way, with the collector's editions, where if you want a certain one where you have to sit there and literally click over and over and over until it's like ready to pop up, and then hope that you actually get your collector's edition, which I think is pretty crazy. I think you should have this, especially if it's on like the Bethesda store, let's say, and you're trying to buy an Elder Scrolls collector's edition. Well, it should have all the options.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Fallout 76 collector's edition. What was that? The day of Bethesda's E3 conference sold out in like what? 10-15 minutes?
Yeah. Well, they had it on GameStop for I think up to an hour, and then it's everywhere.
An hour? That's a long.
Yeah, I couldn't even, because I was watching the Bethesda conference when I got home, and I was I was checking like every website, and Bethesda was sold out, and I got like on GameStop like 5 minutes before they were sold out. It's like,
wait, you got it?
Yeah, I got it. It was like
I got the one on Bethesda's website.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I think that's
high-speed internet. I'm like, this guy over here.
I think that's where they popped up first, was Bethesda's website. And they kind of pulled onto the other ones like immediately after ours.
Yeah. Well, another thing too is like now, especially with these like pre-orders, like if you look, a lot of the times, like essentially when E3 happens, every single pre-order drops, and they push so hard for those pre-orders that a lot of the times too, like, well, not so much now, but I know like back, you're talking what, like early mid 2000s, you're trying to pre-order something, or you're trying to just be a normal consumer and go pick it up at a GameStop, and they're all sold out, because everybody's pre-ordered. And I think pre-ordering is probably one of the worst things you can do.
Personally, I am extremely against pre-ordering, and is why I never shop at GameStop, because I absolutely hate the fact that every time a game comes out, they have to go, hey, did you want to pre-order this? Did you want to pre-order this?
It's almost like forced on you.
I don't like pre-ordering games. I very, very, very rarely pre-order games, because I don't like buying a game before I know what it is. The only reason that I pre-ordered Fallout 76 is because I knew it was going to sell out.
Yep. Well, you look at, so another good example of that, you look at what Mass Effect Andromeda that came out. It's got the Mass Effect title, so everybody's like, I got to jump on that, I got to get the pre-order and I got to buy
Battlefront
the game.
2.
And Battlefront 2, huge flops.
Halo 5.
And you get these massive, disappointments in people people that are like, oh, I shouldn't have bought it. I don't know. This is a terrible game. Well, it's like, these people get paid to get these, reviews in for these jobs.
Right. What was worse about Halo 5 is they advertised this huge fight between Master Chief and Locke, the other protagonist. They get into one fist fight and whips them around like a little bitch.
Yeah, the whole game is essentially.
I mean, I expected it to happen, but
and then they make up at the end and no one dies.
Well, let's just say one thing about Halo 5. The collector's edition, when it came out, did not come with a physical release of the game. It came with a download code. When you buy a collector's edition, usually you're a collector. You want the game, not a piece of paper that has your game code on.
And that's not, you can't resell that.
And Microsoft
only have 100 gigs to download online.
Yeah. You almost have to buy it physically.
Yeah.
If you buy it physically, at least you get the on disc downloaded.
Well, and that's the thing too.
So it's a lot less bandwidth and everything for at least a while until you have to get the online updates and stuff.
If you're buying the collector's edition and you're paying that money to get, the physical thing,
exactly,
why aren't you getting that disc?
Because it's cheaper for them to make a code.
Well, and it's weird.
It's simple. They're assholes.
And it's weird too because they'll make the steelbook, but then they just
put a download code in the steelbook.
So you're still spending the money essentially. You're just not giving them the chance to resell it or have value in that.
This is a piece of paper, and they're just like a really glorified piece of.
Oh, hey, you got Halo 5? Let's play it. Oh,
yeah, and especially for people that don't have good internet.
Yeah.
Or like
there we go.
Anybody out in like a country or like a rural area,
like you.
Yeah, they're just not going to have that chance to play the game that they bought essentially right off the bat.
Like you.
And I think that's where Nintendo is definitely capitalized.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure. First of all,
they don't take as much space either.
So here's the thing. When I picked up my Switch on the day it came out, I was one of the lucky people to get a pre-order before it released. And I pre-ordered the Nintendo Switch and Breath of the Wild. When I was walking out of Best Buy, I skipped school to go pick it up, of course.
Yeah.
And I walked out of school with the Nintendo Switch and Legend of Zelda, went in my car, plopped the Joy-Cons on, put Breath of the Wild in, and I was playing it right there in the parking lot.
Yep.
To me, that was insane. That never happens nowadays. There was no updates, no downloading. It was right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's definitely.
Nintendo kind of pushes more for convenience of anything. Convenience and mobility.
Right.
Kind of runs hand in hand.
Yeah. I mean, look where Xbox, right when they released the Xbox One, look how bad that
Updates.
updates.
Always online.
Always online.
Especially when it first released because they're testing the whole.
Can't play used
network.
games.
Yeah, exactly. They couldn't play. So they, and I think that's where Nintendo gets that good market in with like a good PR stance where everybody's like, oh, they're friendly. They try their best for the people. Yeah. Whereas you look at like Xbox and PlayStation, especially PlayStation in particular, where they won't allow cross-platform. They all of their games still require the download, still require the update. They push super hard for their games with a service type of deal. But their what is it, PlayStation
Now? I don't know what it is.
I think that's what their mobile market is, where so they, and it's everything just to pretty much get your money away from you. Whereas you look at the Switch, you buy the game, you get to play the game that day.
Yep.
Unless you buy it on the store, which I mean, you at that point you're not going to be able to play it. So
even a game like Doom, I put in and it played right away.
Yeah, and it just goes to show why couldn't you just do that for the Xbox or the PlayStation? You make the disc, Xbox 360. You have the disc, you put it in, you play.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's the thing I liked about the last gen consoles. You just
PlayStation Plus, by the way.
PlayStation.
We're stupid.
No, I think that's just their subscription service.
Yeah, that's.
But I think it's like PlayStation Now is their
PlayStation Plus.
Oh, like the Xbox Live games.
Yeah. PlayStation Plus is like Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah. Okay, I gotcha.
I own a PlayStation.
You do?
I own an Xbox and a PlayStation, yeah.
Funny thing is I actually wanted to buy a PlayStation because now that, the console wars are kind of dying down, I figured, maybe you can get a base model PlayStation, none of the 4K, none of that stuff, for fairly cheap, right? I went to GameStop and they told me the base model was $270. Yep. That is a pre-owned PS4. You can go to Best Buy and buy an Xbox One S, brand new, for cheaper than that. With games.
Just go to a pawn shop, honestly.
Yeah, you go to like a pawn shop.
But I mean, even if you're at a pawn shop, I mean, I found it extremely strange how the base model Xbox One is like almost $100 cheaper than the PS4.
Well, you look at it, what was it, the PlayStation 3 when it released? It was like, what, like almost $600?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I remember going to Blockbuster when it was released.
Blockbuster.
They had a whole table set up with like a glass casing around it just to showcase the Blu-ray player as well.
Yep.
$600.
Man, I'm old.
It's like, I mean, at
Bless
that
your
point,
heart, Blockbuster.
at that point, you know, you buy, like, you look at that, and that's way too much for a console, you know, and PlayStation, I think, has always been...
Might as well get a computer and just upgrade it.
Yeah.
Well, you can talk about Nintendo Switch and how it's going to cost you more than $600 anyway.
Yeah, well, Nintendo, I think they did it where they didn't do like an upfront cost, but they kind of snuck around and did more of like a, you're not going to really realize it until it's too late kind of thing, where, you know, you buy the console, you get the game, but then you're like, you get home and you're like, man, I really wish I had the Pro controller because I'm sitting down. I really
wish I had a game. It doesn't even come with the game.
Yeah, you can't even buy a bundle. But I'm saying, like, if you bought the, like, you knew that going in, you buy the game, you know, you still need a dock sock, essentially, because it's just
at least a screen protector.
Yep, a screen protector, a case if you plan on bringing it somewhere.
Yep.
You need a Pro controller.
I mean,
you don't need it, but if you're more into that,
if you're more used to it.
Yeah, if you're more trying to transform in, like, going from like an Xbox to like a,
right.
So you know, depending on if you want one or not.
Yeah, big hands.
Yeah, you want.
Yeah.
Yep, and then you know, what else did I have to get to for mine? Well, and then every game, even or like old ports, $60.
The Switch tax. That's what it's called, the Switch tax.
Yeah, it's, you know, and people buy them. You know,
Yeah.
Damn me, Reggie.
It's Nintendo, man. People will buy it, and Nintendo knows it. That's why they do it.
You know, you get Mario Kart 8, for example. That game still goes for, you know, minimum $43.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good game, though.
Yeah, and then, well, I can't say much for Captain Toad because that one's only $40. I mean,
but I mean, it's not a $60 game. It's not.
Well, I don't know if I'd really say Mario Kart 8 would be a $60 game.
I think it is because it comes with Mario Kart 8 and all the DLC.
But it's still old.
Plus your new battle mode.
It's still an old game, though. You know, it's still a game you could have played. That's where they capitalized on the fact that nobody really had the Wii U.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they've done so many games. Bayonetta.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, you know, nobody had the Wii U, so now you get the Switch, and they're like, well, you didn't have the game to begin with, so why not just charge us?
It's 5 years old, but we're charging it as brand new.
Yeah.
Because it's coming out on a brand new console.
I think the only game that's came out that has been, minus Zelda and our Odyssey, like any game that isn't like a mainstream Nintendo game that's a new IP, is Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
And that one's $60. And I think that's the only new IP that isn't like also returning that is like a full price game so far on the shop.
Right.
And I mean, that one even released with physical copies too.
Right.
So,
well, yeah, if you're not including like Nintendo games, but
yeah. Like if it's, I'm saying just like a broad,
right.
like, yeah. I mean, and I don't know. I mean, for the Switch, if you know you're going to be investing a decent amount of money, I would say it's a good buy. Yeah. Especially just for the sole fact that you can plug in anything and play it.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think. So yeah, any other games? I know we kind of drifted off from it, but any other games you'd want to see that were on the PlayStation that are now that you would like to see come over to the Xbox?
Isn't there
maybe Switch?
one of the major publishers? I think I heard from one of my friends. I don't know if this is true, but a lot of companies out there right now are kind of sick of making games for consoles, mainly because it's really difficult to.
Yeah.
They had to switch from the coding on a computer to a console-based coding.
Right.
For different consoles.
And especially with the Switch, you have to scale it back if you're doing a big game.
You have to scale down the graphics no matter what for consoles. They're always going to be behind PC.
And Wolfenstein.
And you're doing it twice though. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're doing like a Bethesda, where you're releasing it PC, then you're also releasing it Xbox, PlayStation, and then you're going to release it on the Switch. So you're doing it 3 times? You're downscaling your game.
Yeah.
Right.
And switching the coding, it's just. Yeah, PC gaming's going up and consoles going
I think consoles will always be around.
Consoles, oh yeah, of course.
Just because of the sheer convenience. I mean,
and they're lower priced.
Exactly, and your PC, you can't sit on your couch and play a racing game with. Like PC is more. I mean, gaming is coming towards that nowadays. Anyway, it's becoming towards you, one single person staring at a screen with a headset, playing with your friends.
Yeah, there isn't really much split screen anymore.
And if it is, it's never more than 2 players.
Yeah,
it's almost never more than 2 players.
Yeah, I think the only exceptions recently have been Rocket League.
Even Rocket League split screen isn't more than 2 players.
Collection was. I mean, well,
that's pretty old now. That's almost like 5 years old.
But they're still releasing the game itself and upscaling the graphics.
I mean, I guess Call of Duty's always had 4 player, hasn't it?
I think it's only 2.
No, World at War is only 2, isn't it?
Not online.
Like split screen?
The first split screen Call of Duty was Black Ops 1.
Yeah,
I think they're done with split screen now for like Xbox and stuff.
No, Black Ops 4 has guaranteed split screen.
Really?
Yeah, and like Black Ops 3 had 4-player split screen, and we were so happy about it.
Yeah, it's the only game that I know of right now that's in like this new generation that's coming in like that has split screen.
There's not very many new games that have split screen now.
Well, because you're getting into that again with the business aspect of it. It's more profitable for them to say no split screen. You need to buy a console and get live, and then you're subscribing to all these things to play with your friends, rather than we'll just make a split screen and have a friend come over because they're not making money.
Plus, it's to a point where people are frequently buying consoles now, so it's kind of like a norm.
Yeah, I mean, especially too if PlayStation's still averaging that much price, people are still obviously buying. The
demand's still there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, another big game I think I would want to see actually come to Xbox would be. Well, I love Spider-Man, obviously.
Yeah. That's kind of why I got a PlayStation recently. It's just like, I gotta fucking play that game.
Yeah.
It looks so nice.
I was really tempted to buy the Spider-Man edition of the PS4 because it's so cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the whole,
it's like painted. And
totally get memed on by the Sinister Six.
Oh my god, dude, that game's gonna be so cool.
It's gonna be great, yeah. I think if it does come to Xbox, it'll be...
And Detroit Become Human?
Yeah.
I would love to see that, but it's a PlayStation exclusive. I can't play it.
God of War, but that's always been a PlayStation exclusive. But it would be cool if it...
Well, Spider-Man's Sony, so I mean, there's nothing really you can do there.
Crash Bandicoot was always a Sony thing, and it came to Xbox. So I mean, God of War could.
Well, and we saw Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was also on the GameCube.
Yeah, that's weird because like Spider-Man 2 and all those games, they were on everything: PlayStation, Xbox, Game Boy. I mean, it was everywhere. So I don't know why Sony's like just limiting it now.
Well, I think in terms of that is.
Well, back then it wasn't much of a console war.
Yeah, and now it's the console.
Well, dude, console wars have been going since the 80s.
Yeah. Well, but it's all about the exclusives now. Rather back then, you had the console. Well, I guess.
Well, yeah. You play your Sonic or your Hedgehog or your Super Mario World.
Yeah. No, I guess it's. I guess that's a good question. I don't know why it's kind of more of a big thing now, where like the push for even at E3, what was it? Not this year, but last year. That was Microsoft's big thing. Like you heard every 5 seconds on how they had this exclusive. Like the word exclusive came up like every 5 seconds. At E3.
I feel like once we entered the 2000s and like the disc age of gaming, that's when it like really started. Like they were versatizing. They were like, no, we're only allowing certain games, because back then it was like, I don't know. I feel like it's getting worse and worse, and I just don't see a point in it.
Pretty sure, like, never mind.
Well, you look at like in terms of that versus kind of situation. You look at they just released I think it was a pretty recent commercial for Nintendo where they released it like their Minecraft commercial to try and like get people to buy it on the Switch. And it was like red and green essentially everywhere. They made sure to stick it like right in like PlayStation's face, like, you are not joining us, red and green, it's Microsoft and Nintendo, this is only ours, like PlayStation won't allow you to get it, trying to like essentially it's that versus thing. Like,
sure that wasn't just for Mario and Luigi?
No, for Fortnite?
I thought you were talking about Minecraft.
Oh yeah, Minecraft. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about Minecraft.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't for Mario and Luigi. It was like it
Minecraft.
had like all play together.
My dad
be
had
together and
Minecraft since
everything.
like the alpha.
Really?
Yeah.
Back in
Beta.
like what? 2008?
It was earlier than that. It was like 2008. It was like 2007.
7? Yeah.
2008, 2007, somewhere around there. I remember when he was playing it when they first added the snow golems. When they just first added them. And
Back then, Minecraft was just a completely different game than what it is now.
it was better.
It was that same craze
Wow.
as Fortnite, where everybody wanted Minecraft, and Minecraft was the thing you heard from kids, you heard it from the adults.
Heard it from YouTubers that were singing parodies of songs.
Dude, take me back to the old Tobuscus days.
No.
Chicken and a biscuit.
He still does videos.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's debatable.
He's probably singing about Fortnite now.
He's probably singing about his rape allegations.
Wow, that just took a dark turn.
There you go. I'm trying to think what other games are on the PlayStation. I mean, I guess those are kind of like...
Last of Us.
Well, I mean, if you think any PlayStation exclusive, I'd love to have on Xbox. I mean, Last of Us, God of War, I mean...
Yeah. I mean, and when you look at, and it's funny too, because you look at Xbox and you know, PlayStation people look at Xbox and they're like, oh, well, I wonder what exclusive we would like. What do we really have?
Halo. And that's been
if it was
dormant.
the old ones, there'd be a different story. A lot of people liked Halo when it was good.
Right.
Yeah.
But all we have now is Halo 5, and even that's getting old.
Yeah.
It already is.
Yeah, and the next Halo.
The next Halo looks well. They're getting the artist from the Halo Wars 2 team, which he did an awesome job with Halo Wars 2. It looks like a nice classic blend of the classic and the new. I mean, the freaking Marines, the vehicles, the Spartans look freaking crisp in that game.
Even like the surroundings, I felt like just brought me back to like a
Bungie era.
Yeah, like an older, like a Halo 2, even Reach. Halo Reach, it kind of made me think of a little bit. I mean, you know, good classic games. I think they're gonna definitely not redo a Halo 5 situation. I think they're
gonna actually gonna write a story.
A good
that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's, you know, Halo, as much as it's meant for
instead of just chasing after these glorified birds.
Yeah, it was
these mechanical birds that somehow conquer worlds.
It was definitely a weird campaign.
Do you think they would bring the flood back?
That would be a great idea. I mean, they added in Halo Wars 2. The flood's not dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like their whole situation this time was, you know,
they're
Master
still
Chief and Cortana essentially.
Yeah.
Cortana's bad now. Why not just have Cortana do a spin-off thing where she somehow brings the flood back or something?
Yeah.
I mean, the flood made it that much better of a game. I think just having a cool enemy to go up against, where like you felt like
not just a Covenant.
Yeah. Well, even Halo Reach, the ending in Halo Reach was phenomenal. I thought it was a super cool part where you were essentially fighting
a losing battle.
Yeah, you knew you were gonna die at some point. You were just trying.
You knew at the very beginning of the game that you're dead.
Yeah.
You see your helmet charred up and shot.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really cool way to just end the game, and and that was a good example of having like the Covenant in a game where it wasn't like where they were like the main bad guys essentially, but it still made it interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Reach was a good game though. I like I said, I like that ending. That definitely. Just that
it was a nice goodbye from Bungie, basically.
Yeah, essentially.
I mean, they gave us Forge World, which is a freaking huge map for its time, where you just build whatever you want.
Yeah. Yep.
Want to build a freaking giant dick in the sky? Go for it. If you want to build a big racetrack, go for it. You want to build a just build whatever you want. Yeah.
I think they should bring dual wielding back. But they won't.
Without a doubt. You don't know about that.
I think I read
if they bring
something
back the
before that they won't.
in Halo Infinite, if they bring back the core aspects of like Halo 2, 3 era stuff, it'd be perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll be a great game.
Not Combat Evolved where you flip a car and next thing you know, you and your entire squad of Marines are dead.
Or what was it?
Yeah, the driving mechanics in that game are awful.
What was it? ODST, I think was.
ODST was phenomenal.
You liked that game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not like it.
What was wrong with it?
I don't know. I just felt it felt out of place in a Halo game.
Well, you're not a Spartan. You're
It was
you're a
different,
soldier.
Yeah, I felt like it was just dark. Like it had a very dark tone, and I just don't associate Halo with a dark tone. Like the whole game was just dark.
Reach.
Well, Reach had like a dark tone, but it wasn't like it wasn't dark. Like the whole like the surroundings, it was always like a really nice surrounding and everything like that. Like the graphics and everything was bright, colorful.
Well, so was ODST, except the night missions, which obviously you had. Well, you had a
There were lot
visor.
of them.
Yeah, there was a lot of them though. I mean, I felt like, but I don't know. It wasn't like a terrible game. I just
It was a nice filler between Halo 3 and Reach.
yeah. It was,
Because originally they were going to make Halo Reach with a Halo 3 engine, but they couldn't fit all that. So they had to make a new engine from scrap.
let's just hope they don't do another Halo 5. That's all we can hope for.
God.
They won't.
I'm pretty sure they fired their writer and their artist quit.
They did, yeah.
And the guy that composed Halo 4 and 5 is gone too. Apparently Marty O'Donnell's looking for work too. Bring him back.
All right, we're going to end that here. Thank you, everyone, for watching the 5th episode of the ACU podcast.
Bye-bye.
Like and subscribe, if you like this video. That would help out a lot. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.